Hello friends, welcome back. I am wearing the same thing probably as another video because I just don't feel like changing. It's cold. Change my lipstick though. It's not too cold for that. So what are we talking about today? So today's video is sort of a TBR. It is a very specific TBR. Apparently there is a little reading challenge going on and it's called January Japan. So if you've been here over the last year or so, you've learned that I really like Japanese authors. I love Japanese culture, I love Japanese foods, I love everything Japanese. It is a new thing that I am falling in love with. Every layer, everything I learn, I'm like, I love this. I love this. So when I heard that there was this challenge, I was like, yes, I am making a TBR and I am reading books by Japanese authors in the month of January, and I'm most likely going to enjoy myself. So far, there is nothing that I have read that I haven't liked. There's things I've obviously liked more than other things, but there is nothing yet that I haven't liked. And I need to stop moving around because this poor camera is like, how do I focus on you? Let's get into the 6 books that I picked for my January Japan reading TBR. It's not my favorite title. I feel like I want it to be snappier, but it's not. 6 books. I picked out 6 books. I figured this out last night because I found out about it yesterday and now I'm trying to like piece it all together. So I have a few things I borrowed from the library or I can get on Hoopla. I have a few things that I had already as audiobooks and I purchased one as a Kindle ebook. And I don't think I have a physical copy of any single one of these books. Anyway, let's get into it. So the first book that I have is called Terminal Boredom, and it's by Izumi Suzuki. Please remember that I'm terrible at names, and I apologize to everybody whose name I screw up in this video. I am trying. Perhaps that should have been one of my 2022 goals, was to actually get better at saying people's names, but I feel like that's going to be more than a year-long process. So this is translated by Polly Barton and Sam Bett, and I will give you a quick little synopsis of what this is. It's a really short book. I think it's like only like a 6-hour audiobook. I have the audiobook on Libby, so that's why I grabbed it because it was super short, and I was like, yes. Anyway. The first English language publication of the work of Izumi Suzuki, a legend of Japanese science fiction and counterculture icon, other reasons why I downloaded this. In a future where men are contained in ghettoized isolation, women enjoy the fruits of a queer matriarchal utopia until a boy escapes and a young woman's perception of the world is violently interrupted. The last family in a desolate city struggles to approximate 20th century life on Earth, lifting what notions they can from 1960s pop culture, but beneath these badly learned behaviors lies an atavistic appetite for destruction. 2 new friends enjoy drinks on a holiday resort planet where all is not as it seems, and the air itself seems to carry a treacherous, potent nostalgia. Back on Earth, Emma's not certain of her emotionally abusive green-haired boyfriend is in fact an intergalactic alien spy, or if she's been hitting the bottles and baggies too hard. And in the title story, the tyranny of enforced screen time and the mechanization of labor foster a cold-hearted and ultimately tragic disaffection among the youth of Tokyo. So this is a collection of short stories, obviously, and they all sound fantastic, and I'm here for some Japanese sci-fi. I don't think I've had Japanese sci-fi, really. Maybe Memory Police is Japanese sci-fi. But here for it, love it. It's short, different stories, here for it. Yes, so that was Terminal Boredom by Izumi Suzuki. The next book on my list is At the End of the Matinee, which I do have as an ebook. This is by Keiichiro Hirano. It's translated by Juliet Winters Carpenter. Now I'm like, I'm second guessing my ability to read everything, all names. So the best-selling author Hirano offers a timeless ode to love's fragility and its resilience in this delicate, award-winning novel. Classical guitarist Satoshi Makino has toured the world and is at the height of his career when he first lays eyes on journalist Yoko Komine. Their bond forms instantly upon their first meeting after Meiko's concert in Tokyo. They begin a conversation that will go on for years with long spells of silence broken by powerful moments of connection. She's drawn by Makino's tender music, his sensitivity, and he is intrigued by Yoko's refinement and intellect. But neither knows enough about love to see it blooming, nor has the confidence to make the first move. Will their connection endure, weaving them back together like instruments in a symphony, or will fate lead them apart? I love this. I love the idea of a little romance. I think we've talked about this before on the podcast. Like, are there I'm assuming the romance genre exists in many places, but like, where are the translated romances? And this feels like this will be what I was looking for. I mean, it's a contemporary romance, but I'm here for it. So that was At the End of the Matinee by Kiichiro Hirano. I literally cannot apologize enough. So the next book is one that I think Naomi will be very happy to hear that I'm reading, and that is Heaven by Meiko Kawakami. And this, she wrote Breast and Eggs, which was one of my favorite books of the year. And it is a very different story, but apparently it is very well written, and Naomi loved it dearly, so I am sure I'm going to love it. I don't know if this is focusing this camera, so let's just go with it. In Heaven, a 14-year-old boy is tormented for having a lazy eye. Instead of resisting, he chooses to suffer in silence. The only person who understands what he is going through is a female classmate, Kojima, who experiences similar treatment at the hands of her bullies, providing each other with immeasurable consolation at a time in their lives when they need it most. The two young friends grow closer than ever, but what ultimately is the nature of a friendship when your shared bond is terror, unflinching yet tender, sharply observed, intimate, and multi-layered? This simple yet profound novel stands as yet another dazzling testament to Meiko Kawakami's uncontainable talent. She really is an amazing, amazing writer. I feel like everybody should read Breast and Eggs, but especially if you identify as a female, read Breast and Eggs. I feel like it deals with really nicely with a lot of the worries that women have about their bodies, about their fertility, about what does it mean to be a woman if you're not a mother, worries about being a mother, worries about being a single mother. Like, there's so much to unpack about femaleness. I don't know if that's English, but it's so good. But I know that Heaven's supposed to be very heavy and in its dealing of bullying, and I'm really excited to finally get to it. I was hoping I would get to it last year, which is why I already have the audiobook for it, but not the hard copy, because I don't own any of her books yet, but this year maybe, if I save up a little money, maybe I will buy myself a couple copies. Anyway, so that was Heaven by Meiko Kawakami. The next one on my list is a very short book that I know that many people love, and that is Before the Coffee Gets Cold. And I know it has a second part, which I know it's short. So anyway, this is by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I tried, and it's translated by Jeffrey Tusole. I don't know. Okay. What would you change if you could go back in time? In a small back alley in Tokyo, there is a cafe which has been serving carefully brewed coffee for more than 100 years. But this cafe shop offers its customers a unique experience, the chance to travel back in time. And before the coffee gets cold, English, Alyssa, we meet 4 visitors, each of whom is hoping to make use of the cafe's time traveling offer in order to confront the man who left them, receive a letter from her husband, whose memory has been taken by early onset Alzheimer's, to see their sister one last time, and to meet the daughter they never got the chance to know. But the journey into the past does not come without risks. Customers must sit in a particular seat. They cannot leave the cafe. And finally, they must return to the present before the coffee gets cold. Doesn't it just sound so good? And I know that so many people love this book, and I know that it has a second part, and like, I feel like I'm gonna cry. when I read this, especially with the Alzheimer's storyline. So excited. Excited. So that's Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. Kawaguchi? I'm probably wrong, but I'm trying so hard, people. I really am. I feel like I just need to learn Japanese. It would make me so happy to learn Japanese. But your girl barely has time to finish the book nook, let alone learn an entirely new set of characters and alphabet and language. Also, I suck at languages because at this point I should know Spanish. Between my Argentine ex-husband and my Spanish boyfriend, you would think I would know Spanish. I do not. Okay, so the next book on here is The Forest of Wool and Steel by Natsu Miyashita. Miyashita. Philip Gabriel is the translator. And this is, what he experienced that day wasn't life-changing, it was life-making. Tomura is settled by the hypnotic sound of a piano being tuned in his school. It seeps into his soul and transports him to the forests, dark and gleaming, that surround his beloved mountain village. From that moment, he is determined to discover more. Under the tutelage of 3 master piano tuners, one humble, one cheery, and one ill-tempered, Tomura embarks on his training, never straying too far from a single unfathomable question: do I have what it takes? Set in small town Japan, I need to just embrace that I need my readers. Set in small town Japan, this warm and mystical story is for the lucky few who have found their calling, and for the rest of us who are still searching. It shows that the road to finding one's purpose is a winding path, often filled with treacherous doubts, and for those who persevere, astonishing moments of revelation. Again, it just sounds so good. And this is quite short, and this is one I got for as an ebook. I believe it's only 200 and something pages. It had like really good reviews on Amazon. It's a 3.77 over here on Goodreads, but as I've said before, I don't know if I trust Goodreads. So we'll see how I feel about this. Oh, that was The Forest of Wool and Steel by Natsu Miyashita. And then the other book that I have on this list, the last and final book, is called Things Remembered and Things Forgotten by Kyoko Nakajima. And it's translated by Ginny Takamori and Ian McDonald. I almost said Ian. Oh my God, Alyssa, you need to learn how to read. I don't know who lets me talk on the internet, seriously. If we want to understand what has been lost to time, there is no way other than through the exercise of imagination. Imagination applied with delicate rather than broad strokes. So wrote the award-winning Japanese author Kyoko Nakajima of her story, Things Remembered and Things Forgotten, a piece that illuminates, as if by throwing a switch, the layers of wartime devastation that lie just below the surface of Tokyo's insistently modern culture. The 10 acclaimed stories in this collection are pervaded by an air of Japanese ghostliness. I love that element in Japanese writing. Beautifully crafted and deceptively light prose, Nakajima portrays men and women beset by cultural amnesia and unaware of how haunted they are, and by fragmented memories of war and occupation, by fading traditions, by buildings lost to firestorms and bulldozers, by the spirits of their recent past. First of all, I love that there's so many collections of short stories that I can, on January 3rd, be like, I'm just creating a TBR of 6 books, and I'm going to slide them into a month where I'm reading like the 3rd book in the Expanse series, the 4th book in Wheel of Time, plus like X, Y, and Z. I still have like books that I need to finish from last year that I meant to read last month that I didn't get to. Like, I have so many books, right, that I'm reading, and I can just slide in these short, but what are going to be epically powerful short story collections into my TBR for the month, and I get to like travel to Japan on the page and experience different things and learn more. I'm so excited. I love it. So that one was Things Remembered and Things Forgotten by Kyoko Nakajima. I might be wrong. There's like a weird accent. It's not a weird accent. It's just a line. I don't know what it is. I don't know what to call it. Over the first O in Kyoko. And I don't know how I'm supposed to say that, because I don't know Japanese. And then as a bonus, hold on, bonus. As a bonus, I want to read some of these strange tales from Japan that I got. I picked up this book when I took my mom in for a procedure in the city. She's fine. Don't worry about her. Just routine. But I stopped at Shakespeare & Co. on the Upper East Side, and I found this from Tuttle Books, and I was like, yes, your girl needs this. Your girl who's like rapidly becoming obsessed with Japanese culture and like literary culture and ghostly horror culture and yada, yada, yada. I need this. So I would like to start reading through some of these tales. Obviously, this is going to be something that I read sort of throughout the year, and maybe eventually by the end of the year I'll finish it. And it has like beautiful drawings, and it'll help me understand a lot of like the literary references, especially because there's so much so far of like these ghostly tales I feel like get referenced in a lot of literature, especially the kind of literature that I like. So I'm excited. I'm excited. So yeah, those are the 6+1 bonus books I'm hoping to read for January Japan. If you're participating in this, I would love to know what you're reading. Leave a comment down below with whatever you're reading, because I would absolutely love to beef up my Japanese literary canon. So anyway, so if you've enjoyed this video, if you'd like to see more, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Every way you interact with the video does help me out. I just appreciate y'all being here. If you are new to the channel, leave a comment. Let me say hello, get to know you a little bit. I love creating a little community here in this corner of the internet to just talk about books and other random things that I just enjoy. Otherwise, I will see you guys in my next video, whatever it may be, because it's my channel and I can do whatever I want. Bye.
So just sit with me, talking to the night until the morning, building chemistry. I don't think I ever wanna go come closer next to me. Trying to find another way to say this, but I think